You're just continuing to piss me off. Why? Because every time I make a comment that's critical of the Democratic Party or the left, I get accused of being a pundit for the right. That doesn't mean I'm going to become some registered Republican. But what I don't like about the Democratic Party at this particular moment in time, you keep walking around on your moral high horse, acting like you're above reproach. Democrats, you lost. You got your butts whipped. Own it, live with it, accept it, embrace it, and look in the damn mirror.
Embrace it. Stephen A. Smith. People see figuratively blood in the water with the Democrat Party. And there's some people who are being aggressive like Stephen A. Smith, who works for Disney, by the way, ESPN. He smells it, he sniffs it. They say a shark can sniff it if there's a drop like miles away. And that's what's happening here. So does the Young Turks, Ana Kasparian. This is a story here. So I'm going to say Ana Kasparian, she goes at Stephen A. Smith. She calls out Stephen A. Smith. Well, actually, she doesn't call out Stephen A. Smith like you think she might. This is a story of Ana Kasparian and Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is more like the coach on the Stephen A. Smith show, separate from his sports on ESPN, but he's like a sports coach calling out the losing team, the Democrats. And Ana Kasparian is the experienced player in this role, in this story. And she's going to say, yeah, I've been there too.
Stephen A. Smith, a sports analyst, is setting the record straight about his own personal political identity, while also unapologetically criticizing the Democratic Party and now going after anyone who accuses him of being a secret Republican for doing so. Sounds familiar. Now, while there are definitely some positions that we disagree with Stephen A. Smith on, honestly, like the treatment he's getting is something that resonates with me, and I'm sure it would resonate with Cenk as well. And I do want to give you some more details about his rant, but before I do, Waz, you were nodding your head as we were watching that video. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, he's running. That's a one. I think all of these little breadcrumbs that he's dropping since the election, since before the election, remember when he went on The View and they asked him, he's like, if people want me to run, I would run.
Wait.
I'm just now getting into the Young Turks. I don't know who this Waz is other than these videos I've been reacting to. Obviously, I know Ana Kasparian for going way back and Cenk going way back. And when I say way back, I mean just 2020. But I don't know him, and he has some good takes. Let's get back to the Young Turks Waz on Stephen A. Smith.
Hold on. I'm not like, I don't follow Stephen A. Smith and like what he's up to. Like sometimes I'll see his videos, I'll watch, shenanigans, fun, but like running for what?
For president.
No.
Really? Yes.
Running for what?
He went on The View and they asked him and he was like super coy about it. And I think Stephen A. is actually I think he'd be an amazing candidate, to be honest, because this guy knows how to speak to a broad American audience. He's been doing it for 2 decades. And he just has a way of connecting with people and getting them to hear what he has to say. So that's a one. I think the other thing that folks need to understand about that clip that you're just watching, Stephen A. comes from the sports world. So when you lose, you have to answer for it. You have to improve your game. You have to get better. You have to come back with new ways of attacking your foes. Okay, you have to improve. You have to iterate. You have to adapt, evolve. That's what it is in sports. A team doesn't just get to lose and say, no, we lost playing football or basketball or baseball this one style, but we're just going to keep at it. And if we lose again doing the exact same thing, that's all right. That's unacceptable in the sports world. And I think Stephen A. is just applying that ethic to his political analysis, which, bravo, man.
I mean, that's unacceptable in almost any other facet of life, right? You have your year-end review at work and you didn't hit your goals. Well, you're not going to hit your goals if you do the exact same thing the following year, right? And you're expected to improve. And so it's interesting because when it comes to the political elite that are supposed to represent us in our best interests, on the Democratic side, they certainly just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
I would respect the Young Turks so much more if they addressed the big problem that Matt Walsh had. I did the clip here, video a while back. If you see the one with Matt Walsh where he went off on Cenk, and he was right. The Cenk and Ana, they made this shift, but they never admitted they were wrong, and they still have some bad takes. But at the very least, openly admit that you were wrong. Now Ana does in a little bit, but not fully. Cenk, just 46 days before this recording, was saying Trump, and he still believes it to this day, that there was a election stolen and all that kind of stuff. I just wish they would address that, switch that up, and then they would have a lot more credibility quickly. But right now, everybody thinks it's a grift.
And I commend him because I totally understand. Look, I don't have the fame and the money that Stephen A has, but I also know what it's like to be attacked as something that you're not, just based on your criticism of the Democratic Party and your disagreement with maybe even some specific policies that they've implemented that haven't actually played out the way we all expected it to. But just to give you some more information about his rant, he published this video, and the thumbnail, it says, "Am I becoming a Republican?" And yeah, and he says that he's a registered independent and has some conservative views on things, which, by the way, let's pause and talk about that for a second, because guess what? Most Americans have mixed views, right? Most Americans aren't like purely on the left on everything or purely on the right on everything. There's actually, most people are like a hodgepodge of left-wing and right-wing policy preferences. And so that's another thing kind of working in his favor, was when it comes to the attention that he's been getting for his critiques toward the Democratic Party.
So I think it's hard for people who live and breathe, and maybe the TYT audience is, part of this, like people that live and breathe politics on a day-to-day basis. It's hard for people to understand that the average voter, if they, let's just say, read the average, issue of the New Yorker or of even the Atlantic, who I'm quite disgusted by, but whatever. Any one of these publications, like the average voter would not just go list by list by list by list and say, "Oh, I agree with all of that." It's just not true. And I think a lot of people who are too online, a lot of people who follow this stuff too closely cannot fathom somebody who is 80, 70%, 65% on board with the agenda of the Democratic Party. Which is not to say, like, I can't vote for the Democrats without being 100% on board. Like, people can't understand how somebody could literally be like, Medicare for all, and I'm not really too worried about gun control. They can't, it's like, how? You're a Democrat. You're supposed to be Medicare for all. Well, not that the Democrats are, but you know what I mean. Like, whatever the Democrat, you're supposed to just follow it down the line. And if you stray from it, you're an idiot. You're a bigot. It's like, no, dude. Most people don't go down the line of what, every single Republican would agree is the right side of an issue, or every single Democrat in office would agree.
You know what? MAGA has to really watch out here, because these guys can win me over. I know I'm not waffling, but life is complicated. There's things I don't like about them. There's things I do. Look at Trump. There's a lot that I am really crashing out about Trump on. Most recently, we had rumors about Donald Trump. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this goes in line with me saying, who would I go with now? Would I go with Young Turks, or would I go with Trump? Would I go with Hassan Piker, as far as like who would I kind of more align with? Recently, we saw this news story. Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer for Jeffrey of the Island, the famous island, is reportedly being considered for Trump's special envoy to monitor and combat anyone who speaks out against the tiny hat country, the Ben Shapiro country. That's Donald Trump. That's disqualifying. That makes Donald Trump a political enemy of mine. So very quickly, when you hear somebody like Waz say, wait a second, Waz, I think these people are really bad on the European war, but they're better on the Middle Eastern war. And I think if I have to pick a side, that both sides are bad. Most people are not against war on both sides. MAGA's not, they're not. So if I had to pick a side, I'd rather them, if I had to, I hate this, but I would have to say I want people who are against what's going on in the Middle Eastern situation. That's more important than the Eastern Europe one. And I hear Waz saying this, and I'm like, what do I need MAGA for? I am. I'm starting to think that. And all these people are just politicals, they're influencers. I get it. But just let's just assume they're being authentic. What do I need MAGA for? I'm not, I don't give a damn about a label. You can call me a Democrat. I don't give a damn. My positions are my positions. Those labels are stupid. You can call something whatever you want to call it. What is the substance of it? If I give you a pizza and I call it a sardine, okay, I'm eating sardines for lunch. I'm good. I know what it really is. Let's go bring this back for Waz, the Young Turks.
Put down the line, and if you stray from it, you're an idiot. You're a bigot. It's like, no, dude. Most people don't go down the line.
Nobody goes down the line. And he's talking to the populist left here, but that resonates with me. I'm not trying to do any moderate. I hate moderate positions. This is more about I go issue by issue. So some issues I'll agree with and some issues I won't. And the populist, the progressive side, the progressive influencers don't do that. You have to be 100% with them or they kind of cut you out. But I'm seeing them kind of change that a little bit. But then you have the people on the progressive right or the populist right side, and they're very similar. So this resonates.
Of what, every single Republican would agree is the right side of an issue, or every single Democrat in office would agree is the right side of the issue. And Stephen A. is like most voters in that regard.
I totally agree.
That's just what it is.
Well, let's go to the next clip, because he says that he's sick of Democrats coping and their refusal to acknowledge where they went wrong.
As the election came about and ultimately unfolded, and I saw Donald Trump win convincingly. No, he did not get 50% of the popular vote, as the Democrats are so quick to point out. My attitude to them is shut the hell up. Nobody wants to hear that now. Who cares whether he got 50% of the vote or not? He beat you in the popular vote and the Electoral College vote. He swept the swing states.
Yep.
He improved his numbers in every demographic imaginable. Blacks, Hispanics, women. He beat you. Y'all lost. The Democrats, you lost. You got your ass kicked in every way imaginable. Here's the bottom line. They were successful in disseminating whatever they wanted their message to be to the masses better than you were. You lost.
Was.
I've been consuming Stephen A, man, 20 years at least.
Same
now.
here.
And I think that's his magic, his ability to, in a very entertaining way and quite thoughtful way, which is just pointing out the facts and like, bro, like this is what it is. And there need to be consequences for what happened. And again,
good stuff by Waz there. I've been watching Stephen A for 20 years as well. Probably more than that, to be honest. I'm probably older than Waz. Yeah, this is a big moment. What makes this powerful is Stephen A. Smith coming from the sports world, as you heard, Waz and Ana coming from progressive politics. Both of them are aligned. They're both saying the same thing. If you don't learn from your losses, you don't adapt. You just have to. Here's an example. The Democrats right now are talking about how Elon Musk is running things. That could land with people, but number one, are people against Elon Musk? Donald Trump just won. Like Stephen A. Smith said, that's kind of what they voted for. And nobody really thinks Elon Musk does have a lot of more influence than I thought, but Donald Trump is a boss and an entity of his own. So it doesn't really discredit him. It's not like if J.D. Vance was president, he would be really discredited by Elon Musk. Donald Trump is the most recognized man on the face of the planet. So, and he's not really, nobody looks at him as like a puppet for Elon Musk. So trying to say Elon Musk is the real president doesn't resonate in that way. And then in number two, the corporate Democrats have had all kinds of billionaires involved in our politics from local level all the way up to the general election. And then on top of that, we all know now Joe Biden, he was senile. He didn't know where he was half the time. Everybody knew that. So the same people who support billionaires on their side, we all know about that. The same people who knew everything about Joe Biden, they're now trying to say Elon Musk is a problem. That doesn't resonate. No self-awareness. What's the lesson here? This isn't about choosing sides. I'm done with that. Even if somebody's being disingenuous, maybe underneath the hood, if the engine is running in the direction I need it to, I'm good with that. It's sports, politics, life. Losing isn't the problem. Refusing to change is.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.